Welcome back to One Piece Anime Review, episode 298. Yes, 2 weeks from now, hopefully you'll get a chance to episode 300. And, well, now I'm finally reviewing One Piece, even though I could have done this a couple days ago, but stuff delayed this. So, let's get started. This episode, we're discussing episode 1062, The King of Hell. Three sword style. It's called Three Sword Style of the Supreme King Zoro versus King. This episode covers pretty much the rest of chapter 1035, pages 4 through 17, and the first 3 pages, technically pages 3 through 5, up chapter 1036. And these are really interesting though. The only characters you see the whole episode, aside from some nameless beast pirates, it's just King and Zoro. That's it. There's no cutaways. It's just these two. It's their humongous brawl. So last time we saw these two, part of King's face of King's mask torn off, and then he finally takes out reveal he's actually, he's a member of that species. They don't reveal in present day, but they're in the flashback he's a Luthanian, implying a species might be from the moon. Well, it's a tribe anyways. But from what I've read, these people were actually from Mary's Raw, the home of the Celestial Dragons, and the 5 Elder Idiots. Yep, and well, we're going to get to the 5 Elder Idiots, don't worry about that. So, they show the flashback of how the heck he hooked up with Kaido. Kaido just found him, basically, apparently him and Kaido held captive, of all places, Punk Hazard. Yes. Well, looks like to be about a little over 20 years by the events of the series, given how tall and lean Kaido is, and he's smiling. Oh, by the way, he's not much of a drunk though. Like, I'd say no. This probably was before he ride the Wano. This is probably more than 20. I think about 30 years prior to the events of the series. Could be because he's not as tall as he is in present day. He's not heavy drunk. And also, he doesn't have a scar on his belly. So this is well before he met Odin. So, they're saying, oh, this mysterious president broke out, and it's Kaido. And then he breaks out, well, the guy who's going to become king, breaks him out, and apparently he can withstand fire. So they have to deal with all the Marines there, and then, of course, yeah, his name is Albert. Yeah, his real name is Albert, and of course, Kaido gives his name King, and then later on I show another flashback where him and King are just drinking, and asking if he's Joy Boy, but he's just going to serve him, he has no other wish, and just wants to be strong, becoming pirates. And that's a flashback. And pretty much like when they mention, oh yeah, and apparently, get this, there is a bounty for information related to his species. If there's any information related to any person seeing these people, it is worth 100,000 berries just for information about his people. Like, apparently turning him in will give these people, make people rich. No, I'm not kidding about that. So the chastisement for basically killing his own men. Yeah. And of course they bow back and forth. And he also doesn't, because he tore up his mask, he doesn't do that stupid thing where he pulls his mask back really tight and just try to poke Zoro with his beak when he's in his pterodactyl mode. He doesn't do that, which... And of course, they just brawl. They tear up the ground outside the dome. And then eventually, Zoro beats him. But here's what they add in here, because after the fight's over, because the manga has where he's floating in the air, the anime adds in where he actually jumped up. Actually, he uses the energy from his sword to jump, and he boosts up and land right outside Kaido's the dome, makes a crater in the ground, a small crater, and that's where the Kaido winner. Excuse me. So King's done. So all 3 disasters are defeated. The top pirates are done. So here's the thing with next episode. Apparently next episode is going to focus on Usopp. And we'll go back to Kaido versus Luffy finally. Yeah, about time. It seems like Luffy's been absent the whole period of time. There was also a brief flashback to, of all things, the Brate arc. Yes, they have flashback to that for some reason. And from what I can tell from that, that's stock footage. Yeah, that's the only bit of stock footage you get the whole episode is a brief snippet of basically just after Hawkeye Mihawk defeats Zoro in a very good sword fight, which has it where Zoro's two of his swords get broken, and Zoro gets that famous scar across his chest that he still has to this day. Yep, but it's a good episode. I'm glad we're finally moving on from these like one-on-one fight things, like the focus of a whole episode. So then when this chapter of the manga, so we have this wonderful cover story of basically the girls of One Piece. We have Robin, Bella Hancock, Vivi, Rebecca, Uchi, basically everybody going to the beach. Yeah, I love this one, my personal favorite. Yeah. So the chapter is called The Attempted Murder of a Slash Dragon. So inside, and of course we cut to, so Sal basically explains while he's inside the palace, he runs into Jory Bonnie. Of course, he knows the fact that she's Kuma's daughter, and of course, Sal agrees he'll get Kuma, and of course, she'll go to egg how he conveyed to his senses. It was here a brief good gentleman moment for Sabo where he basically he picks up Bonnie, carries her bridal style in his arms. And the thing is, she doesn't smack him for this at all. She just thanks him. Probably because basically Sabo was a friend of her father. And then, of course, then we have the meeting that was teased last chapter, where you have the 5 older idiots talking to Cobra. Kids with history lesson. Yes, where should I start? The world government we know began 800 years ago when it was created by a group of 20 kings. A new style of creators of the world, remarriage and families. Because where they became those Celestial Dragons, they have the rule over the world for 8 centuries since. And mentions among themselves and total kings and all as equals. And one rule were others dictator. They created the empty throne, a place where 20 weapons surround it to symbolize their oath never claimed to see. In the 20 kingdoms that had lost their families, new kings were chosen to rule continues today. The first 20 dynasties' names are no longer found in the lands which came. Alabasta is different. The monarch at that time, Queen Lady of Nefertiti dynasty, was counted among the first 20, but now become a Celestial Dragon, choosing to return to Alabasta and continue to line in her homeland where the king, her name, reigns. That's why actually there are only 19 weapons surrounding the throne. That is all correct, but what's your point? We're going through a store of documents from my royal library. The only history can be found they can purpose there come across the documents after the span of the voice century yet. There's no mention of Queen Lily's name. She did not come back to Alabasta after that. Lily's younger brother took the throne in Alabasta instead. Is there anything you might not be able to tell about her? That's what you want to ask. It was 800 years ago. It is recorded from that ruler. If did not live here, we assume she gone back to home. Whatever reasons actions were, they were lost to cobwebs of time. I cannot help you. In that case, what is the D? Why would you ask that? Well, you see, there is a brief 800-year-old letter that she passed on to the line of kings. Meanwhile, though, Sarah Hoshi's being taken to be a slave again by the idiot St. Charles. Yeah, and of course Kuma's there, and then of course everybody's running away and it's not helping her. And of course her brother basically tries to stop her. Kuma basically is like using his past speed beam on her. And of course basically he's not happy seeing Kuma like this. Yeah, and then of course basically Then we have where Sao gets involved. And of course, they beat up the Slash Dragons. He's a dragon. Yeah, and then of course, they both beat the crap out of him. Tail Hammer, Dragon Nail, Foo. Ah, Carlos, it's all over. He's dead. It's a murder scene. It's a murder of Slash Dragon. The Admiral's beyond the way. Yeah, they say he killed him with this move. Okay. And then Kuma is grabbed by one of the generals of the Revolution Army. Yeah, Kuma is grabbed. Ah, communicate enough. Marley, I got the keys from Sabo. Who's that, intruder? It's Morley, one of the Revolution captains. And then basically, Imp finally shows up here. Says, "Oh, great Imbu, but the King Cooper still present." Huh? Lily. And then Imp sits on the empty throne. Yes, sits on it. The very throne that no one is allowed to sit on. But apparently this one person. And here's the strange thing about this. This is the first time this person has ever spoke the entire series. This is only her fifth, this is only her, this is only her fourth appearance to date. And her first word is Lily. Could this be Queen Lily? Who knows? We might get the answer in 11 days. Yes, 11 days. Excuse me. Damn. What a really good chapter. Love it. I give it a 10 out of 10. Very good mystery, and wow. And yeah, it's bad we had to wait like a couple weeks basically for the next part, but it's a great cliffhanger. We have the de facto rule of the world speaking. Never has this person ever spoke. Like, the first time we saw this person was during the Reverie arc. And this is only his, well, I don't know if it's a him or her, it's called Imu. Only this person's fourth or fifth appearance in the entire series. Yeah, the last time this person showed up, this person destroyed a whole country. Yeah. Yeah, but here's a question. Why is this one person allowed to sit on the throne? That's a good question. We'll find out soon. Okay, so that's episode of you. Next episode, Eden Zero. Okay, next video. Bye.